And I have to have it approved from my parents, social worker, Dr. Buski has to agree to it. A lot of people, they call it a staffing, where they sit down and we talk about how well I'm doing, what things I need to improve on.
Would her parents like her to be in the program?
I think they would, yes. I've talked to them about a month ago, in fact, about it, and they said, well, we'll keep working on it with you till we feel you're ready. And we'll keep trying to help you get there. And I think a lot of people are helping me get there.
William Scott, a member of the Clausen House Board of Directors, has a daughter, Sarah, who's in the Gold program.
When she first came here, she didn't even like it. When she'd come home for a weekend occasionally, we had difficulty getting her to come back. But gradually, she began learning things. She went out into the community, began taking a bus by herself, began riding a bicycle around Oakland, which I never thought she could do. And then she graduated into what they call the apartment thing now. She shares an apartment with another girl. They do their own cooking, under supervision, of course. And now she has a job 2 days a week. She gets on the BART train. She's a different person. She's a real young lady, 27 years old, who has a job and friends and, lives in the community, goes places.
Bob Gady is one of the 9 people who completed the Gold program and graduated from Clausen House. But for the developmentally disabled, being an independent working person doesn't mean the end of the struggle. Is Bob's work really appropriate for someone with a degree from a junior college? Now, goodwill benefits a lot of people, but the point is that Bob is capable of far more than making sure a used shirt is on the right rack. His mathematical abilities are good, but after 7 years on the job, he still isn't being trained to ring up a sale on the cash register. Bob won't complain, just the opposite. Even if your disability is only a mild one, jobs are extremely hard to get. Through Bob, a new question arises. In certain jobs, can some of the developmentally disabled actually be overqualified? Jobs are important, but there are other ways to be involved in community life. Today at the Oakland Museum Auditorium, Clausen House residents are about to put on a play called Harlequin.
Well, it's good to be excited, but
yes, I know.
When you're on stage, concentrate on what you're doing.
And my lines and everything.
On your lines and everything. Yeah. Good. That's great. Yeah.
Drama coach Gita Heaps.
Really great. The Clausen House Academy of Dramatic Arts was initiated by the residents themselves, giving them a tremendous amount of self-respect and self-confidence, an amazing discovery of what they could do themselves and what they're capable of doing. And I think they believe now that there's absolutely no play that they can't tackle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the super fantastic winter brother carnival of the year.
Show the world Harlequin.
Dream of a costume of magic design. Dream that this wonderful costume is mine. Dressed in opaque
The winner is Eloquent.
Well, we need volunteers. We need donations. I want to go over there. Laurie was the first resident with Ann Clausen at Adams.
The developmentally disabled people you've just met are typical of the mildly and moderately retarded. Unlike other disabled people, most of the mentally retarded are unable to speak up for themselves, unable to apply political leverage in their own behalf. So the final outcome of their struggle will depend on our acceptance and our help. After all, they're part of us. They belong among us. Clausen House is a residential facility which helps mentally retarded adults learn and grow and contribute. It's an internationally respected pioneer in this field. And now you've seen some of the results. You've seen productive people whose lives might otherwise have been wasted. And yet Clausen House is in a continuing struggle to stay in existence. Its fundraising efforts are constant because the state of California barely provides enough money to pay for adequate housing and supervising and minimal training in life's basic skills. It's the additional services, supported by private funds, which have earned Clausen House its reputation. Without continuing private funds, there will be no goal program, no nutritionist, no drama department, no chance to jog on the beach. If Clausen House depended just on state support, such essentials as the volunteer job placement program would vanish. Shifting political winds affect Clausen House just as much as they affect you and me. Leslie Russell is a consultant to the staff.
Whether we like it or not, Clausen House exists in a political environment, and that political environment is uncertain. Basically, the situation is that the state contracts with us to provide services for developmentally disabled adults, and we then are in a position of take it or leave it. But we've got to take it if we're going to serve people who are not themselves wealthy. And when we take it, we are then taking on what used to be the state's responsibility. But the state never has paid the entire cost of that responsibility, and somehow we have got to pick up the rest of the funds somewhere on our own private resources.
Rachel Abramson is the Director of Development at Clausen House.
It costs the taxpayer between $35,000 and $60,000 a year
to keep a retarded person in a state hospital. But it only costs less than a third of that to keep a resident here at Clausen House. Our problem is that what the state pays us really isn't adequate to provide our unique educational program. Without going out and raising additional private funds, we simply couldn't provide the training necessary to get our residents out into the community and to enable them to live and work among us. Will their lives be expanded or restricted? Will they be able to be more creative, to explore more of their potential? That's really what a budget determines in the last analysis. It looks like numbers, but it's really feeling, it's really living, it's really growing or not growing, it's really pain sometimes, or perhaps comfort.
Does anybody here think they need to work a little bit on personal...
There are many ways you can help, and every gift is tax deductible.
Like this morning.
A $2,500 scholarship in your name will provide a resident with a balanced program of classes for an entire year. $1,000 will train someone to get and to hold a volunteer job.
I feed a patient.
Smaller amounts will provide a year's counseling in social skills or cooking or using public transportation.
You can't do it too good, huh?
If you include Clausen House in your estate planning, you'll have immediate and substantial tax benefits. You can also volunteer your skills and services or donate used furniture and clothing to Clausen House's boutiques. And you can simply raise your voice and be heard. Write your elected officials and stand up for people whose birthright is the same as your own. Remember that in a small organization like Clausen House, what you do can make a significant difference in someone's life.